A short lesson on the area of the most familiar polygons, just rectangles, parallelograms, triangles, and trapezoids. And you should know by now that the area is a number of square units inside the figure. So we want to see how many little square units will fit inside that rectangle. And I think you learned way back in grade school that area of a rectangle is the length times the width. So this is a length and this is a width. Sometimes it's called the base times the height. Parallelogram is kind of like a rectangle, except it doesn't always have right angles. So we call it the base times the height because the height has to be the perpendicular distance between two parallel sides. I got a typo in your booklet, so try to fix that. Perpendicular means the straight up and down. So this distance right here, from here to here, but it can't be this distance. It's a straight up and down distance. You'll always see it. They might show a dotted line out here, like this, and it'll form a right angle. Sometimes it's inside. This picture's not very good, but they'll show a right angle in there also, okay? So we can see that if we take this triangle off and put it over here, we're going to have a rectangle, and it'll be this height times it, or this base times this height. Okay, next one is a triangle, and we've gone over triangles a little bit when we did similar figures. So you might remember that a triangle is half of the base times the height, where the height again is the perpendicular distance, straight up and down, between the vertex or between the base and the opposite vertex. So if this is a right triangle, we can see if we add another triangle here, it makes a rectangle. And this area here would be base times height, but we only want half of it. That's why you divide by 2. In this one, we could add this like this, and this would be this half, and this would be this half. So you can see this triangle here is half of this rectangle here, which is base times height. Same thing would happen over here. We could make a parallelogram like that, and we can see that this triangle is half of this parallelogram, so it's a base times the height. Always remember when you see triangles, if they're talking about areas, you're going to have to divide them by 2, okay? The last one we're going to do is trapezoids. Hold on a second here. And you guys know that a trapezoid is a polygon with exactly one pair of parallel sides. So this is a trapezoid and this is a trapezoid. The formula says it's 1/2 the sum of the parallel bases times the height and then divide by 2. Well, the parallel bases are these two guys here, and they're called B1 and B2. So the two sides that are parallel are called B1 and B2 in formulas. And then again, the height is, again, the straight up and down or the perpendicular between the two parallel sides or bases. So we take this length plus this length, find that sum. It's in parentheses, so we need to find the sum first. Multiply times the height and then divide by 2. You have some shapes down here. They're called irregular shapes, and that's when you have a combination of shapes. And you should be able to recognize the shapes that are in there. And there's always more than one way to do this. So you can see on this one in here, we have 2 rectangles. So if you can find out the dimensions of this rectangle, which is 1/3, and you add on this rectangle here, well, if this is 5 and this is 1, this has to be 4, right? Plus the area of the other rectangle, so that's going to be 4 times 1. Then we can get our area, which is going to be 7 centimeters squared. Don't forget your units when you're doing area is going to be square, so you need that little 2. That means it's not a one-dimensional measurement, it's a 2-dimensional measurement. This one here, you can see we have 2 triangles. We have this triangle here that has a base of 3 and a base of 4 and a height of 3. So we know this is 3 times 4. Don't forget, with triangles we have to divide by 2, so that's going to be 6. And then this one here, this is the base of my other triangle. Well, it's going to be 4 plus 5, this plus this, so it's going to be 9 times 5. because this is my height here, divided by 2. 45 divided by 2 is 22.5. And then we're going to add those two together. So we get 6 plus 22.5 equals 28.5. And it's meters, so don't forget to label your meters, all right? We're going to let you try to do those and then remind me in class that we need to go over them, all right? So I hope this is pretty clear. We'll try to do some activities with area when you come to class.